In today's lesson, we are looking at naming and writing chemical formulas for molecular compounds. That is for covalent compounds, compounds that form between two nonmetals. So molecular or covalent compounds form when atoms of nonmetals share electrons. So that is elements from the right-hand side of the periodic table. And it's not possible to predict how nonmetals are going to join together because there's many possible ways that the sharing can take place. So ion charges are not used. We can't use ion charges when we're predicting the formulas. For example, if we want to combine nitrogen and oxygen, they can form many different products. It could form NO, could form N2O, or NO2, or N2O4, etc. So you can't predict it based on its ion charges. We use Roman numerals when we're writing the names. So you need to learn the what each number is. So for example, 1 is mono. These are going to become prefixes when we're giving the names. 2 is di. 3 is tri. 4 is tetra. 5 is penta. 6 is hexa. 7 is hepta. 8 is octa. 9 is nona. And 10 is deca. I'm going to circle these and highlight that you must know these. The last 6 aren't as common, but we're definitely going to be using the first 5 quite a bit, and you will encounter all of them. The steps to follow when you're naming covalent compounds are: first, you have to, I'm going to switch back, you have to check and make sure that both elements are nonmetals. To check if both elements are nonmetals. And of course, if one of them turned out to be a metal, then you would use ionic naming. Then you need to consider the number and the name of each element. So consider number and name of each element. And we'll look at this in a minute with some examples and it'll make more sense. You need to use prefixes to indicate how many there are, and change the last element to "-ide". So when change ending of last element to IDE. Okay, let's look at some examples. If we had N2Cl4, we know N is nitrogen, we know Cl is chlorine. We have to use our numbers as prefixes to indicate how many there are. So we said that di stood for 2, so this is going to be di-nitrogen. We said 4 was tetra, so tetra, and we changed chlorine to chloride, so it becomes di-nitrogen tetrachloride. A rule is that if the first element has only one atom, then the prefix mono is understood. So you don't have to say mono on the first element. You do, however, have to say it on the second one. So CO would be not monocarbon, but just carbon monoxide. Two more examples. CO2. Again, we don't need the mono on the first one, so it would be carbon dioxide. SO3 would be sulfur trioxide. So that's the naming. The other thing we can do is write in the formulas from the names. What you need to do here is, again, determine if the compound is covalent. Determine if compound is covalent. And you would do that by making sure and checking that it's two nonmetals. Then if so, do not use ion charges. You would simply examine the name. The name is going to tell you how many of each element there are. So for example, dinitrogen tells you there's two N's, so N2. Tetra means 4, oxide, O4. Dichlorine, Cl2, monoxide, O. Pause the video now and try the next three on your own. Okay, pentaiodide would be I5 monobromide. Tellurium dibromide would be TeBr2. And arsenic triiodide would be AsI3.